Hi, Geometry. Today we're in Unit 1, Lesson 6, page 38 of our workbook, and this will be construction number 6. We're going to do a perpendicular line, just like we did in the last lesson, but this time the point we're going to use to create our perpendicular line is going to be off our line. So this is our point C, and this is our line M. Notice the lowercase letter labeling for the line and the uppercase for the point. We are going to use our straight edge and compass again today to construct a line perpendicular to M that goes through C. So I'd like to draw a perpendicular line right there, but I can't draw it freehand. I have to have all the construction marks. I've got to have the circles or the arcs, and I've got to show all my steps. So let's take a look at how we can do that. So first off, just like yesterday or just like the last lesson, depending on when we're doing this, we want to make a circle utilizing C as the center. So we're going to make circle C. Now, the radius really could be anything, any radius that crosses line M. So yesterday, or in the last lesson, you'll remember that it could be any radius at all. It didn't matter because my point was on the line. So now I couldn't use this distance. Oh, my compass just came apart. Let's grab a different one. Got to be careful with those little screw parts. So I wouldn't want to use anything where my pointer on C, my pencil lead doesn't go across line M. So you don't want your circle to be up above. You need your circle to cross M. We're going to need 2 intersection points. My circle can't intersect M if the radius isn't big enough. It doesn't go across M. So you can see that my radius was big enough because my circle intersects M in 2 places. So next, we're going to mark the intersection points. And on a quiz or test, you would not need to label these, but I'm going to label it A, B just so I can talk about them. So here is what's going on. A is the same distance to C as B is to C. So that means that C is right smack dab in the middle of A and B. If I drew the perpendicular bisector of AB, it should be going through C. C is the same distance from A as it is to B. It should be on the perpendicular bisector. So the next thing we're going to do is construct the perpendicular bisector of AB. That is our construction number 1. So let's do that. So I'm going to measure the distance between A and B. This doesn't have anything to do with C. I'm doing the construction of a perpendicular bisector from A to B. It means I want to do a big circle at A, I want to do a big circle at B, and I want to mark where they intersect. So let's do our big circle at A. Keeping my radius the exact same distance, let's do our big circle at B. And our circles have intersected in 2 places. First of all, I'd like you to ignore our first circle C. What I'm looking at is this big circle A on the left and this big circle B on the right. My 2 bigger circles intersect at those 2 places right there. So I have now marked where my circles intersected, and I'm going to connect this point to this point. It should be lining up with C. If yours aren't perfect, you can kind of move your straight edge to best line those 3 points up. And then this line that I just drew is several things. First of all, it is the perpendicular bisector of AB. It should go through C the way I've constructed it, which makes it perpendicular to line M. It is not the perpendicular bisector of line M. You cannot bisect a line. A line goes on forever and ever in both directions. I can bisect this little segment, which is what I did. I cannot bisect a line. I can be perpendicular to it. So there's really not a fourth step. Once I construct my perpendicular bisector of AB, my answer is on the paper. This line is my answer. The answer to this problem, and I'm going to call this line, let's do lowercase n. N is perpendicular to M. These two lines intersect at a right angle.